Good evening, everyone. Today, I want to talk about something uncomfortable, something raw, something most of us avoid at all costs: being hated. That feeling of disapproval, that fear of being judged, criticized, or even misunderstood, it's a universal human experience. But I'm here to tell you this: let them hate you. Not because you are reckless or indifferent, but because the price of being truly yourself is often misunderstanding and judgment. The courage to stand in your truth unapologetically will sometimes make you a target. And that's okay, when people direct hate towards you. The natural instinct is to internalize it. We start asking ourselves questions like, what did I do wrong? Am I not enough? Did I say or do something to deserve this? But here's the truth: hate is rarely about you. In most cases, it's about them, their wounds, their fears, their insecurities, and their unmet needs. You see, people are mirrors. When you show up in your authenticity, you force others to confront parts of themselves they may not want to face. Your confidence might highlight their insecurities. Your success might remind them of opportunities they've missed. Your happiness might challenge their belief that life is only suffering. And instead of taking accountability for their feelings, they find it easier to blame, criticize, or resent you. Hate is often a defense mechanism. It's a way for people to protect their fragile egos. Think about it: when someone sees something in you that they admire but feel they can't achieve, their jealousy might transform into criticism. When someone feels uncomfortable with their own life, they might project that discomfort onto you. This is not your burden to carry. It's important to recognize that the way people treat you is not a reflection of your worth, but of their inner state. Hurt people. Those who haven't healed from their own pain will often inflict it on others. It's a cycle, and it's one that has nothing to do with you. But let's pause for a moment and clarify something critical. Just because hate isn't about you doesn't mean it won't hurt. We are wired for connection, for belonging, and for love. When someone directs negativity toward us, it stings. That's natural. The key is not to deny the hurt, but to understand its source. Once you realize their hate is a reflection of their inner struggle, it becomes easier to let it roll off your back. This doesn't mean you should excuse toxic behavior or allow people to mistreat you. Boundaries are essential. However, it does mean you can approach their negativity with compassion, not for their sake, but for yours. Compassion allows you to detach from their emotions and prevents you from internalizing their projections. Think about it this way: if someone handed you a gift, but you refused to accept it, the gift would still belong to them. Hatred is the same. If you refuse to accept their negativity, it remains theirs to carry. You don't have to take it on. So when you face hate, remind yourself, this is not about me. Take a step back and look at the bigger picture. What is this person struggling with? What might they be projecting onto me? This doesn't mean their actions are justified, but it helps you separate their feelings from your identity. By understanding that hate is about them and not you, you reclaim your power. You stop wasting energy trying to fix something that was never yours to fix. Instead, you can focus on staying true to yourself, knowing that their hate says everything about them and nothing about you. Remember this: the people who are truly at peace with themselves have no need to tear others down. Their words and actions come from a place of love and acceptance, not bitterness and resentment. When someone hates you, it's a sign they're wrestling with their own demons. That's their battle, not yours. So the next time you feel the sting of hate, pause, take a deep breath. Remind yourself of this truth: their hate doesn't diminish your worth. Their feelings are their responsibility, and you are not defined by their inability to see your light. Authenticity is one of the most courageous choices you can make in life. It means showing up as your full, unedited self, not the version of you that seeks approval, not the version that bends to fit in, but the real, raw, unfiltered you. However, the moment you choose to live authentically, you must also accept a difficult truth: authenticity will always be polarizing. Not everyone will celebrate your decision to live fully and freely as yourself. In fact, some people will be unsettled, even threatened by it. Why? Because authenticity has a way of exposing what is false in others. It shines a light on areas of their lives where they may be hiding, pretending, or living out of alignment with their own truth. And that light can feel blinding for those who aren't ready to face it. Think about it when you embrace your true self, your passions, your quirks, your dreams. It's a bold declaration that you are no longer living for the approval of others. For some, this is inspiring. For others, it's intimidating. Your courage becomes a mirror, and not everyone will like what they see reflected back at them. It's not uncommon for people to label authenticity as arrogance or selfishness when, in reality, it's neither. It's simply the act of prioritizing truth over comfort, alignment over conformity. But because authenticity disrupts the status quo, it will inevitably draw both admiration and criticism. The world loves to tell us to be ourselves, but it doesn't always mean it. Society rewards compliance, not individuality. It values sameness because sameness is safe, predictable, and easy to control. When you step outside of those expectations, you disrupt the narrative, and that disruption can make people uncomfortable. Here's the key: you cannot let their discomfort deter you. You cannot allow the fear of being misunderstood or judged to push you back into the shadows. Living authentically is not about being liked by everyone, it's about being at peace with yourself. And that peace is worth far more than any fleeting approval you might gain from pretending to be someone you're not. Authenticity also requires vulnerability, and vulnerability is inherently risky. When you show the world your true self, you expose yourself to judgment, criticism, and yes, even hatred. But here's the thing: the alternative, hiding, pretending, conforming, is far more exhausting and damaging to your soul. Living inauthentically might protect you from criticism, but it will also rob you of joy, fulfillment, and genuine connection. Consider this: the people who truly love and accept you will be drawn to your authenticity. They will celebrate your quirks, embrace your imperfections, and support your dreams. These are the people who matter. On the other hand, the people who criticize or reject you for being yourself are not rejecting you, they're rejecting the parts of you that don't align with their limited perspective. And that's okay. Their approval is not your purpose. Living authentically also gives others permission to do the same. When you show up as your true self, you become an example of what's possible. You inspire others to embrace their own truth, even if it scares them. But remember, not everyone will be ready to follow your lead. Some will resist, some will judge, and that's not your responsibility to fix. Authenticity is polarizing, yes, but it is also freeing. When you live authentically, you no longer have to carry the weight of other people's expectations. You no longer have to waste energy trying to fit into molds that were never designed for you. You can simply be, and that is enough. The polarization that comes with authenticity is not a sign that you're doing something wrong. It's a sign that you're doing something right. It means you're standing firm in your truth, even in the face of resistance. It means you're choosing integrity over popularity, courage over comfort, and alignment over approval. So let them misunderstand you. Let them label you. Let them judge you. Their opinions are not your truth. Your only responsibility is to live a life that feels true to you, no matter how polarizing that may be. Because in the end, the only person who has to live with your choices is you. Stay authentic, even when it's hard. Especially when it's hard. Because authenticity may be polarizing, but it is also the most powerful, liberating, and fulfilling way to live. In a world that often equates strength with invulnerability, admitting that we are vulnerable can feel like a radical act. We are told to toughen up, to hide our fears, to keep our emotions in check, and to never let anyone see us falter. But what if the very thing we've been taught to hide our vulnerability is actually the greatest measure of our strength? Vulnerability is not weakness. On the contrary, it takes extraordinary courage to be vulnerable. It takes strength to admit that you don't have all the answers, to share your feelings even when you fear judgment, and to risk failure in the pursuit of something meaningful. Vulnerability is not about being fragile, it's about being real. It's about standing in the truth of who you are, even when it feels uncomfortable or uncertain. Think about what it means to be vulnerable. To be vulnerable is to say, here I am, this is me, with all my imperfections, fears, and doubts. It is the willingness to take off the armor we use to protect ourselves from criticism or rejection and to show up as we truly are. That level of honesty requires incredible bravery because it exposes us to the possibility of being hurt. But here's the paradox: in allowing ourselves to be seen, truly seen, we create space for genuine connection, growth, and resilience. Society often glorifies the image of the person who has it all together, but let me tell you something: no one has it all together. Everyone carries struggles, insecurities, and pain. The difference is that some people are brave enough to admit it. And in doing so, they unlock a power that is far greater than any facade of perfection. Vulnerability is the birthplace of so many of the things we value most in life. It is where love begins, where creativity thrives, and where innovation takes root. Without vulnerability, there can be no real intimacy. Relationships would remain shallow, confined to the safe but unfulfilling territory of small talk and surface-level interactions. Vulnerability allows us to say, this is what I'm feeling, this is what I need, this is where I hurt. It's what turns acquaintances into lifelong friends and what transforms a relationship into a partnership built on trust and understanding. Vulnerability is also the foundation of growth. Think about any time you've learned something significant or achieved something worthwhile. Chances are you had to step out of your comfort zone. You had to risk failure, embarrassment, or disappointment. That's vulnerability in action. It's the willingness to say, I'm scared, but I'm going to try anyway. Every great leader, innovator, or artist you admire has embraced vulnerability. They've dared to take risks, to face criticism, and to open themselves up to the possibility of failure, all in the pursuit of something greater. And let's talk about resilience. Far from being a sign of weakness, vulnerability is what makes us resilient. When we allow ourselves to feel deeply, whether it's joy, sadness, fear, or pain, we build the emotional muscles we need to navigate life's challenges. Denying our vulnerability doesn't make us stronger, it makes us brittle. It creates a facade that might look strong on the outside but is easily shattered when tested. True strength comes from embracing our humanity, from recognizing that it's okay to fall as long as we get back up. One of the greatest lies we've been told is that vulnerability makes us a target. While it's true that being vulnerable means taking risks, it also means living authentically. And when we live authentically, we attract people and opportunities that align with our true selves. Yes, there will be moments when your vulnerability is met with judgment or rejection, but those moments are not a reflection of your worth. They're a reflection of the other person's inability to meet you at your depth. To live without vulnerability is to live without connection, without growth, and without courage. It's to settle for a life that feels safe but unfulfilled. On the other hand, to embrace vulnerability is to open yourself to the richness of life. It's to say, I am willing to feel deeply, to risk greatly, and to live fully. That is not weakness, that is strength. So let's redefine what it means to be strong. Strength is not about never falling, it's about getting back up when you do. It's not about hiding your emotions, it's about owning them. And it's not about pretending you have no fears, it's about moving forward in spite of them. Vulnerability is not the enemy of strength, it is its greatest ally. The next time you feel tempted to hide your vulnerability, remember this: the strongest thing you can do is to be real. To admit that you're human. To allow yourself to be seen, even in your most imperfect moments. Because in those moments, you are not weak, you are brave, you are authentic, and you are strong. One of the greatest sources of stress and dissatisfaction in life comes from the relentless pursuit of trying to please everyone. It's a trap that many of us fall into, often without realizing it. We want to be liked, accepted, and validated, so we bend, twist, and sometimes even break ourselves to meet the expectations of others. But here's the truth: you are not here to please everyone. You were never meant to. The desire to please others often stems from a deep-rooted fear of rejection. We equate being liked with being worthy, and so we spend a tremendous amount of energy trying to gain the approval of those around us. We say yes when we mean no. We suppress our own needs and desires, and we go out of our way to avoid conflict. But what's the cost? In our quest to make others happy, we lose touch with ourselves. The reality is, no matter how hard you try, you cannot please everyone. People are complex with different values, beliefs, and expectations. What one person admires about you, another may criticize. What one person celebrates, another may condemn. Trying to cater to all these differing opinions is not only exhausting, it's impossible. And the harder you try, the more you dilute your own identity. Let me ask you this: what would happen if you stopped trying to please everyone? What if you focused instead on living a life that feels true and meaningful to you? Because here's the thing: the people who genuinely care about you, who truly value and respect you, will not require you to perform or pretend. They will love and accept you for who you are, not for how well you meet their expectations. Living to please others is like running on a treadmill. It keeps you busy, but you're not really going anywhere. It's a life spent chasing external validation at the expense of your own happiness and fulfillment. And even if you manage to win someone's approval, it's fleeting, because people's opinions are fickle and the goalposts are constantly shifting. What they want from you today may not be what they want tomorrow. You're not here to be everyone's cup of tea. You're here to be authentic, to pursue your passions, to live out your purpose. You're here to contribute to the world in a way that only you can. And that requires making peace with the fact that not everyone will like you. And that's okay. In fact, it's liberating. When you stop trying to please everyone, you free yourself from the weight of other people's expectations. You give yourself permission to say no, to set boundaries, and to prioritize what truly matters to you. You reclaim your time, your energy, and your sense of self. This doesn't mean you become unkind or dismissive of others' feelings. It doesn't mean you stop caring about the people in your life. What it does mean is that you stop sacrificing your own well-being for the sake of others' approval. It means you recognize that your worth is not tied to how much you can give or how well you can conform. When you live for others' approval, you give them power over your life. But when you live for yourself, guided by your values, passions, and purpose, you take that power back. You become the author of your own story rather than a character in someone else's. Understand this: you are not responsible for how others perceive you. Their opinions are shaped by their own experiences, insecurities, and biases. You could be the kindest, most generous person in the world, and someone will still find a reason to criticize you. That's not a reflection of you, it's a reflection of them. So stop bending yourself into shapes that were never meant for you. Stop hiding your light to make others more comfortable. Stop giving away pieces of yourself just to fit into someone else's idea of who you should be. Instead, focus on pleasing the one person who truly matters: yourself. When you live authentically, some people will be inspired, others will be indifferent, and yes, some will criticize, but that's not your concern. Your concern is to live a life that feels aligned with your truth. Your concern is to wake up each day knowing that you're living fully and unapologetically as yourself. You're not here to be liked by everyone, you're here to live a life that you're proud of. So let go of the need to please. Let go of the fear of rejection. trust that the right people, the ones who matter, will walk with you, not because you've earned their approval, but because they value your authenticity. Remember this, the people who love you for who you are will stay. The ones who don't were never truly yours to begin with. And that's not a loss, it's clarity. It's a reminder that your worth has never depended on external validation. So take the weight of people pleasing off your shoulders. You are not here to live someone else's version of your life. You are here to live your truth unapologetically and boldly. And in doing so, you will attract the kind of people, opportunities, and experiences that are meant for you. Live authentically, love unapologetically, and remember, you're not here to please everyone, and that's your greatest strength. As we draw this conversation to a close, let me remind you of this liberating truth: you are not defined by the opinions of others. You are not here to fit neatly into someone else's expectations or to shrink yourself so that others feel comfortable. Your purpose, your authenticity, and your power are far too valuable to be confined by the judgments of those who don't truly see or understand you. Yes, some will criticize you, some will misunderstand you, and some may even hate you. But let them hate you, not because you are unkind or unjust, but because you have chosen to live boldly and authentically. Let their opinions roll off your shoulders, knowing that they are not a reflection of your worth, but a mirror of their own insecurities and limitations. Remember the lessons we've explored today. Hate is not about you, it's about them. Authenticity will always be polarizing, but it is the key to a meaningful life. Vulnerability, far from being a weakness, is the ultimate demonstration of strength. And above all, you are not here to please everyone, you are here to live your truth. Embrace the fact that not everyone will like you. Instead, focus on liking yourself. Let your life be guided by your values, not by the shifting opinions of others. When you live with purpose, when you show up as your authentic self, and when you embrace your imperfections with courage and grace, you give others permission to do the same. Let them hate you if that's what it takes for you to stand in your truth. Let them whisper, let them judge, let them misunderstand. Because the people who truly matter, the ones who see your light and your worth, will stand with you not in spite of your authenticity, but because of it. So go forward boldly. Speak your truth, even if your voice shakes. Chase your dreams, even if they seem impossible to others. Love deeply, live courageously, and stand tall in the face of criticism. For the life you are building is far more valuable than the fleeting approval of others. Let them hate you, but never let that stop you from being you. Because who you are at your core is more than enough. It always has been, and it always will be.